Hi, my name is Adrienne Pedrotti, and I'm a master's student in choral conducting.
Well, thank you so much for coming into the podcast. We're so happy to have you. I think you're the first person who's like truly kind of a working musician.
Thank you.
You do so much stuff around Austin in the music scene, and now you're a student here, right?
Yes.
So just so happy to have you here at Butler and here on the podcast. So tell us a little bit about the degree you're doing.
Thanks, Nathan. It's a master's degree in choral conducting. And I got one master's degree a few years ago in vocal chamber music. So that was mostly a sort of a performative, a performing degree. But this one is specifically just for learning how to conduct and honing my gesture and technique and everything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself mainly as like what do you see yourself mainly as? A conductor, a performer, composer? I know you have many titles, arranger, right? Yeah.
Actually, I like them all sort of equally, which is how I ended up doing work in all the different fields. I couldn't decide whether or not I wanted to be mostly a performer or mostly a conductor, so that's why I'm sort of doing school for both. But yeah, I perform a lot, and I also have a choir that I conduct called Austin Cantorum. It's a chamber ensemble in Austin. And so I really do love doing all of it. I'm not much of a composer, but I do arrangements. I've done a lot of different vocal arrangements for Austin Cantorum and for VAMP, another quintet that I'm involved in. And I just sort of do as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people wouldn't even know that this, like, you could do this, just kind of piece together a whole bunch of stuff and make a living and have a life and all of that. People are so focused. How were you when you were in high school? Like when you saw your future, you're a senior, you're thinking about going to music school. What was the goal back then?
It's funny because I started in high school. I actually didn't do high school choir at all. That was it was something that I was like, no, I think I'm just going to do theater arts, or I just didn't really do a whole lot with music. And so then once I got to college, that's actually when I was like, ooh, I'd like to join a choir. And I went to undergrad, and I went for writing. So I have an undergraduate degree in English.
Another title, a writer.
I know, yeah. And actually, I've got a day job. That's what I do. That's what I've done ever since I finished college. Is I work for the Texas state government as my day job. But luckily, I'm
sure that's really page turning.
It is.
Stuff
It's so
writing.
page turning. It's page turning. So I turn music pages. I turn bills and law pages. Yeah, exactly. But the nice thing is that I've been able to sort of keep that, and it has a flexibility that allows me to do all of my different music projects. But when I was in college, I was thinking like maybe I should be I should have a music degree. But I was like, I'm almost done with my English degree, so I think I'm just going to keep on going with this. And so I've sort of like eventually kind of came back around to music. So I've sort of had a weird, circuitous kind of relationship with how I got to be a musician.
Yeah, that's super rare that you didn't do it did you play an instrument in high school or anything?
My mom was a piano teacher.
Okay.
I was in choir at church,
Okay.
and I played a little bit of piano, but it was not a thing that I was doing all the time. But it was also in my blood. Like my grandfather was the bassoonist of the San Antonio Symphony. My mom was a piano teacher. My sister was a vocal performance major. So like it was all around me, but it was not something that I was super focused on, at least in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went to your undergrad, right? And then you did a master's degree. Where did you do the master's degree?
It was called the University of Redlands. It's in California.
So you made the determination, I'm going to do this professionally. Yeah.
Yeah. After I got my English degree, I decided, and actually it was after I got married, I was like, okay, I can now do some things that I kind of want to do and just on the side. And then I started taking classes at ACC, and I took some classes at Texas State, sort of music classes that helped me get that foundation that I didn't really get in my undergrad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started like an ACC and then you transferred out there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a scary moment? Like saying like, I'm gonna go do this?
Yeah, it is sort of scary. But at the same time, I've been able to sort of keep my consistent day job the whole time. So it's not like a step where I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. foundation for supporting myself financially.
Yeah, when you did that master's, that first master's, was it like purely like love of music, or was there more of like a job? I mean, some people, they go into a degree and they're like, it is because I want a job. And others are like, I just want to learn. Like, where were you on that spectrum?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of both for sure. But the point of the degree at the time was to prepare you for, the sort of professional choral scene, and it's also to prepare you for, or to get your ears listening to performing, but in a small chamber setting with other musicians. So it's not necessarily a performance degree with a vocal solo performance degree like you would be studying a lot of opera, but it was to turn your ears on and to approach different pieces of music with that sort of in mind, and how you can together as an ensemble present these pieces and appeal to audiences and figure out why it is that you're performing all these things. So it was a real, and I had been doing a little bit of that before, just performing around town, but I wanted to hone. So it's both. It was both that I was trying to get more sort of choral opportunities and just learn the love of the music. Yeah.
Did people ever try to push you into opera? Was it, because I feel like that's right there, right? And a lot of people will go that route.
Yeah. It was never like a push. Never a push. It was always like, well, you could get a little bit more of your big girl voice, like. And right now, actually, because I'm, sort of growing older and aging, as we are all doing, I'm realizing how my voice is kind of changing throughout my life. So it's interesting to be able to navigate all that. And right now, I definitely feel like I'm having to get into a little bit more of an operatic style, and find all of my core, so that way I can sort of serve my new body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it get better? Does your voice get better? I feel like a lot of times when I go to opera, like the people are older, on stage singing.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's. I think so. I think that after a time, you eventually have to sort of navigate new changes when you get to be older. But right now, I feel like I'm finding my stride.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about some of the stuff you're doing around town.
So my main things that I'm doing right now is, like I mentioned, I'm the director of Austin Cantorum, which is my sort of my baby. I inherited it from another student who used to be at UT. His name was Christian Cantu. He started it back in 2017, and it's just not professional. It's sort of a semi-professional chamber choir, auditioned chamber choir.
How many people in it?
There's about 28
Okay.
to 30 singers. And we basically just get together for like a project. I say, hey, are you interested? And are you available for these particular dates? And then we find good dates for all of us, come together, make a performance happen, and then go our separate ways until it happens again,
But you're the one who finds that project.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so tell us about some of the past projects.
We've had, I like to have projects that are sort of collaborative with either different instrumentalists, or we've had a number of projects that are like collaborative with Austin organizations. We had one called Bedtime Stories with a local storytelling organization called Testify. And we presented music that sort of related to their stories in some way. That was back in 2023.
Like children's bedtime stories?
Yeah, it was
okay,
sort of
cool.
reflecting on the nature of bedtime stories and how they affect our lives, and then there's surprisingly a lot of music that either relates to bedtime stories or sort of shows you a bedtime reads aloud a bedtime story to you.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really neat, and just sort of navigating your life through the way that you conceive of your childhood in that way. And anyway, it was a very moving performance, and we were really, really happy. That was back in, I think, 2022. Is that what I said? Anyway, and then we're thinking of working with some dancers maybe in the future, and
cool.
maybe working with another organization that sort of highlights. I have this idea to work with to work with a food bank and have a concert that's all about hunger and hunger awareness.
Oh wow.
Haven't put anything.
That'll be a cheerful one.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So we try specifically in Cantorum to create these sort of musical experiences, a sort of a communal music experience through unique programming, through storytelling, through themes and things like that, and then interesting collaborations. So
yeah, that's like super interesting. Like, because we don't usually hear from people on like this end of the creative process. Like, I don't want to say like the executive, but like that's kind of interesting. Like you see a food bank, you're like, oh, that'd be cool to make a concert.
Highlight that.
Like how do you even start with that? Do you look for music around?
You know what's funny is that the reason the idea came to me is because there's actually a lot of music about food. Like there's some
we like food as a species.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like my own, like food, exactly. Yeah, so just trying to do something different that serves the audience, that serves the singers, and serves a greater purpose.
Yeah.
So.
I bet you there's a lot of music about hunger too. Because for much of our history, right? That's something we really had to struggle with.
Yeah, totally.
Now we have to struggle with like not eating. But for most of human history, right? So,
So true.
Yeah. So cool. So what else are you doing?
So I'm also one of the founding members of VAMP, which is a professional vocal quintet. We just came out with our brand new album. That was back in November, so 2 months ago. We actually had the performance here at UT, which was we were so honored to be hosted here. And it involves a number of the sort of professional singers that you'll see around town, one of which works here. It highlights the sort of it's like a vocal quintet that highlights a women's perspective. It's a women-led perspective, and we like to perform new works and amplify women's voices. And our concerts are sort of we strive to create like an intimate, emotional, vulnerable experience for both us and our audience. In fact, we had one performance where we all brought sort of different things from our living room and created this little living room in the concert hall so that we could all just sort of like be together
was that the one at KMFA?
That was the one at KMFA.
Yeah. I went to that. That was great. It was great. Yeah. I took my whole family. They loved it. Yeah, and you even had like snacks in the.
We did.
And my kids always talk about that.
Popcorn.
That was the best concert ever. I'm like, because of the music or because of the snacks?
I know.
Yeah. No, that was a phenomenal concert.
Thank you.
Yeah. So did you audition for VAMP, or were you like? Did you help form it? Or?
Amazingly, no. I had the idea. I saw a video online of this other sextet that I was like, ooh, I would love to start a sextet. So I basically just contacted my favorite singers in Austin, and I was like, "Do you want to be in a group with me?" And they all, they all said yes. And what happened was I contacted one, and she said yes, and then we two were like, "Well, who should be our next one?" And then we contacted that one, and we were like, "Well, who should be our next one?" So it was sort of a collaborative work just to get the group. And originally it was going to be a sextet, and then we just couldn't find that last person to fill, so we're just like, why don't we just make it five?
Are you still
voices.
looking for a sixth?
No, we're not really looking for a sixth right now, but we just stuck with five, and which is actually unique because there's usually a lot of music for 4 voices. There's a lot of music for 6 voices, but not a whole lot for 5. So that's been a challenge, just because we'll either need to arrange it for 5 voices or sort of modify it to fit what we've got, or commission new works, and we've actually commissioned a few works and work with composers on how to do that. So it's been a really fun challenge.
Yeah. So what do you think makes you successful at this, where like you can just come up with this like almost crazy idea, like I'm going to make a food bank, concert, or I'm going to make this, all-female group that there's no music for. And like, how do you get people to buy into it? I think especially this generation might struggle. Like they hear you say that, like I just started calling people and like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you think makes you successful at that?
That's a good question. I think I struggle too with like this feeling of sort of imposter syndrome, where I'm like, I'm not allowed to make that music, or I'm not allowed to have these performances. Who am I? But I think that's the whole, if you have an idea, just like go, just do it, and if you can make it happen, great. And if you fail, who cares? That's part of the learning process.
Did you always have that, like, if it doesn't work, who cares? Because I feel like in classical music, that if it doesn't work, who cares is not, a normal thought process.
No, it's not. And in fact, it's a lot of people are, a lot of people are like, well, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do this. And you're not supposed to do anything until you have all these degrees, and or until you know the history of everything that you could possibly know about whatever. But
which you'll never get to.
No, you'll never attain that. Yeah. But I do think that it's important just to be like, you know what, I'm going to make art. And maybe I'll mess up, but that's okay. And I also have some experience with like working with bands. Like my husband, he has been in a band for, 20 or 30 years. He's quite a bit older than me, but he,
like a marching band?
No,
or
like a rock band.
Oh, okay,
like a punk rock band.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was in a band for a few years too, called the Fontanelles, which I love. I love the Fontanelles. But, and it was just like, let's get together and make something. And it's okay. And I think that being a part of that was actually very freeing, because it's like, yeah, we don't know everything, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try, shouldn't just like make something that makes us happy.
Yeah. When were you in a band?
This was right before, let me think about it. I think it was like, we were 2018 to 2020. And then in the pandemic, our guitarist and our drummer moved away. So.
And that was it.
That was it.
Oh, you need a reunion.
We need a reunion.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been trying to get them to come back. They're in New Mexico, so maybe someday we can get them to come for a reunion.
But even that's like an interesting age to start a band. Like I always think of bands like people around high school or like college. And it seems like once people like pass like 23, 24, something clicks in where they're not going to call people and say, let's create a band, right?
Yeah, totally.
And you'd never been in a band. Yeah, but you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, even now, I'm like, I want to start another band. I want to be in like a screamy girl band. I want to do all the things. Yeah, I think that's so important. And you see these aging rocker dudes, like Paul McCartney, for example. And not everybody's going to be Paul McCartney, but it's like, dude's he's 80 years old and he's still doing things,
But he started in high school.
That's true. He started in high school.
If he had not started the Beatles, I don't think now he would be like calling up buddies, be like, you know what? I've always wanted to start a band.
That's true.
I've got a great name for it too. The Beatles.
The Beatles. But couldn't he though?
He could, absolutely.
He could.
Absolutely.
I think everybody could. If you want to do it, just do it. Who cares how old you are?
Yeah. I mean, did you come from almost like a hippie family where it was like this kind of attitude was?
No,
okay.
Not really. I mean, my mom was is definitely sort of a please make yourself happy sort of a person, but she, her musician was focused on sort of classical piano. That's what she did mostly. But I think living in Austin has really opened up my opportunities, opened up the people that I get to hang out with, and the projects that they're doing, and seeing the creativity of other people just makes your brain start working and have ideas of things that you want to start doing. And so it's like an amorphous thing that keeps moving around.
Yeah.
That's what's really cool about Austin, is that it's like everybody is in everybody else's projects,
Yeah.
Which makes it hard, because there's a lot of events that I want to be able to go to, and I'm like, well, I've got rehearsal,
Yeah.
or I've got this other gig and so I can't do that. But it's such a supportive community where we all really value all the contributions that everybody is making. And there's so much crossover between classical and jazz and
especially
pop
here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like VAMP is doing Here Be Monsters, which is a new music festival for sort of an indie classical vibe, indie classical scene, where it has some classical elements, it has some pop elements, and it's all new music, and it's all a lot of local composers, and it's really cool to see just how varied how varied we all are and how similar we all are too.
Yeah, it's a very cool. You're doing it for 2026?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my kids look forward to that all year because they've got the what do they call them? Not hot tubs, but they're like
that's right,
little swimming pools.
Yes, like those cowboy swimming
cowboy pools. Yes, cowboy pools. They look forward to it all year. So yeah, no,
they're fun.
Yeah, very cool. So do you think like it's part of that feeling that just willing to kind of take these big chances came from mainly Austin?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, from Austin. Yeah, and from the people who live here and who make art here. I think so.
Cool. And so talk about the album. So you came out with an album recently?
Yeah, the album, it's just called VAMP. It's our self-titled album. And it's basically just pieces that we have been performing. VAMP actually started in March of 2020. Our very first rehearsal.
Great time to start a group.
I know. Our very first rehearsal was like March 15th, and we were like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. And then pew, everything shuts down. So then we, of course, we were like, should we stop? No, let's not stop. Let's go and rehearse in that parking garage over there and just like stand super far away from each other. Or let's go to my backyard and I'll be way over here and y'all be over there and we'll just try to listen to each other. And like it was this sort of a sad feeling, of course during COVID, but it was also a time for us to sort of incubate ideas and music and find this perfect symmetry with each other, and it let us really dive into all this different music. So it was sort of a blessing in disguise. And so this album was sort of the culmination of all of the pieces that we worked on together, and just finding love in and finding our stories within this music. A lot of it is other people's music. It's not necessarily all ours, but there is a piece that was written by Laura Mercado Wright, who is one of the members of VAMP. So we're just sort of finding our story as a group of women. And it was something that we wanted to create that was ours and ours alone. A lot of times music has been, the music that we have created so far in our lives has been sort of dictated by the men who have been in the conductor role or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to experience something of our own.
So it was just music that spoke to you, like individual songs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then albums, is that still a big thing? People making like physical albums?
Oh my gosh.
Like how does that work? Like I assume you have a digital copy, right? It's on
streaming
services.
It's on Bandcamp. It's at Vamp Vocals is what we are called, vampvocals.com.
We'll put the link below.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. And but there's something nice about having something that actually exists. We have CDs. We have we purchased and created vinyl for it as well. And especially with now when there's all this AI stuff and things can get changed, like the streaming services can alter your movies without you knowing what's happening. And you're like, wasn't there a scene right there that was supposed to be? And they're like, oh, we took that out.
You'll be listening. I don't remember performing this piece. Right? Did we record this?
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like, oh yes, it exists. This is a physical thing.
Yeah.
That nobody can take this away from me. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so it went well, the whole process?
It did. It did go well. It took a lot longer than we ever thought. We learned so much from this process, but it did go well. We got a recording engineer, as a friend of a friend, Jet Galindo. She was wonderful. She's based out in California. She came. She stayed in my house. We sort of like hung out together, and we were able to knock out the recording in 2 days. So
nice.
It was great. And then all the end stuff, all the back end stuff, excuse me. That's what really took the longest, is like finding the right takes and cutting this and doing this and doing that.
And the artwork and like the ISBN, was it the ISBN number, whatever it is? Yeah.
Yeah. Paige did so much work figuring out all the legalities of the licensing and the ISBNs. And I mean, like, that's just so, it's a lot of work.
And there's different licensing for online and
Exactly.
recordings and
Yeah.
very cool. So what else are you doing around town?
I am also I'm the I'm the section leader for the Conspirari Symphonic Choir, and that's with Craig Hell Johnson, and it's a wonderful, beautiful, welcoming community of great musicians. We're going to be performing the Brahms Requiem, and another piece, Seven Last Words, by Joel Thompson. For a spring performance, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be very beautiful. In fact, in my conducting seminar last semester, we were focusing on the Brahms Requiem, and so we did the whole semester conducting and researching and diving into the Brahms Requiem, and now I get to perform it. So,
and now as a section leader, you can be like, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
You're like, no, don't you understand? Yeah.
I've done this before. Yeah. So what is this group? So
yeah, this is like a community group of singers in Austin. It's mostly people who aren't singers, professionally, but they still want to have music in their lives. But they're very, very, very good musicians, brilliant musicians, and it's just a large group. It's maybe I can't remember exactly, so please forgive me. It's maybe 80 to 100 singers that perform large works. I'm also I sing with the Texas Early Music Project, which focuses on medieval, Renaissance, Baroque, and some early classical music. So I get to do a little bit of everything. I'll do brand new music. I do music that's, hundreds and hundreds of years old. And that's another super love of mine. I didn't used to love early music as much as I do now, but now that I've been in this group and I've understood like all how varied and wide early music can be, it's become a real love of mine.
Very cool. So anything else going on around town?
I mean, there's so much going on, and I'm just so blessed to be a part of it all. I think that there's actually this upcoming Sunday, Cantorum. A few Cantorum singers are going to be collaborating with Todd Boss and Gila Plitman. Gila Plitman is a professional soprano, and Todd Boss is a poet. They have started this series. It's like a monthly series called Appreciations, where it's it's like a church service, but it's not church because there's no religious dogma or anything, but it's sort of an exploration of gratitude. And it comes with that sort of ritualistic service, but it's not religious in that way. So, and this is similar to a Cantorum concert that we had a couple of years ago called Vigil, where it was called a sacred non-religious choral experience, where we did the same things. I wrote 5 different pieces of like a secular liturgy, and cool. The audience and the choir that sang together during those 5 pieces. It was sort of like a half audience participation and half performance. So we're going to bring back those secular liturgy pieces and try to incorporate them into this this church but not church service that's happening. Churchish, yeah. Exploration of gratitude. That's happening this Sunday. And then I actually have there's a Beerthoven, which is another group in Austin that combines.
Sounds like a fun group.
Sounds like fun, right?
Like beer, like you drink beer?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it combines classical music with just getting together and drinking
alcohol.
With alcohol. Yes, in fun spaces with alcohol. And oftentimes there's free pastries from Easy Tiger. I'm not sure if that's what's happening this time, but in February, I think it's the 27th, I think. They're having a concert called Pipe Dreams, where they're bringing in like a bunch of different organists from Austin. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to be doing a couple of pieces for a couple of arias, a Handel and a Bach aria, and I think there's going to be another a bass soloist as well. So that's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Beers.
Can you drink before you sing? Like before you perform? Is that like a?
It's I actually have gotten used to our VAMP rehearsals, which we have a little bit of wine at our VAMP rehearsals, and it's sort of like, you know how you say like you're supposed to. I mean, I'm not supposed to tell people to drink wine further. And in fact, my voice teacher would be like, no, never do that, never do it. But, you live in the world long enough, you sort of
When in
learn how
Rome,
to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mimicking the way that we're rehearsing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Cool.
A little.
Yeah.
Not too much.
So you're doing all this stuff. So what made you decide to come back to school? Because you seem pretty involved.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I debated it, but I just think that there's still more for me to learn. And I've been a conductor of this group, but in order to effectuate all the things that I've got like in my brain, I've got to be able to show that with my gesture in such a way that actually makes people understand what I'm trying to say.
And what made you choose, other than living in Austin, Butler?
Butler is, I mean, this program has been, one of the best in the state and the country for a long, long time. And so it was a really easy choice. Also, I've been around UT so much. I sang in many different conglomerations of people that either were students here or were professors here or whatever for so long that it's almost kind of felt like home. Even though I haven't been a student. Like, I've been in Austin for 20 years. I haven't been a student in a long, long time. But I've still know my way around campus and know my way around Butler in particular. So it just seemed like a easy decision.
Yeah, and then you have a big performance. The choir's coming up with Mahler's too.
Yes, we're going to be performing in the Long Center, Mahler's Second Symphony. We haven't started rehearsing yet, but we're all very excited about that. So it should be. I've never actually gotten to perform any Mahler, so this will be a first for me. I'm very excited.
So as a graduate student, are you expected to take on more of a leadership role in the choir, or how does that work?
Yeah, typically grad students, they will help with sort of logistics on the back end, but also get some podium time in front of the ensemble where they get to conduct and work with the choir. And so...
and then will JD give you feedback or Holly give you feedback?
Yes,
okay.
There's a choir called the Repertory Chorus where it meets on Monday nights, and we're all sort of responsible for doing a few pieces here and there. Me and Hunter, the other grad student, we had our recital back in December where we chose all the music.
What was that like having? Was that your first time ever getting feedback on your conducting?
I've taken a number of. I've gone to a couple of different choral conducting sort of workshops where it's just a week, and you get together every day for a week. I went to one at Texas State. I went to one at the University of Illinois. And so I've gotten some experience getting feedback, and I try to always be extremely receptive to it because they're just trying to help you grow. Make sure that the things that you're trying to say with your movements actually say what you want, so that way you can get the sound you want. And it's been great to be able to work with different wonderful conductors and hone my skills so that way I can get Cantorum and all my other ensembles to be
exactly.
In the best shape that they can be. Yeah,
because when you're just conducting an ensemble, it's probably pretty rare that someone will come up afterwards and give you feedback in the group.
Oh yeah.
I mean, maybe in a VAMP or a smaller group, but once you get bigger,
in a big group. It's true. It's sort of unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and in fact, with Cantorum, I might even, to my detriment sometimes, I'm always like, what do y'all think? What do you think? And,
really?
I try
Isn't that a big no-no? The conductor is supposed to be all-knowing? You're never supposed to doubt.
That's a good question. Yeah. I think that's traditionally how it's been in the past, especially with old-school conductors. It's been it's my way or the highway.
You're supposed to throw a chair if someone...
I know, you're supposed to throw the book. And, I guess I just don't favor that approach. I kind of like for it to be a little bit more democratic. And sometimes that can get away from me. Sometimes I'll be like, well, what do you think? And then everybody's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wait. Maybe I should step back. Yeah. So I think it's finding a balance and figuring out the right balance. Because speaking from a singer, which I've been for a long, long time, sometimes there's things that I hear in the audience that I know that you as the conductor, you haven't heard yet. And it's not because you're a bad conductor. It's because you just have a different perspective, the conductor, you can't hear things quite in the way that I can. So it's nice to be able to provide that feedback when you have the opportunity to do so. So in Cantorum, I try to create spaces where people can at least say something that's really on their mind, because I've been multiple times like, you know.
Yeah. So you still do it. You still like open it up.
Yeah.
Did you do that at all last semester here?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. With the repertory chorus, I tried, but there's also people of totally different skill levels in the repertory chorus. There's some advanced singers, there's some brand new singers, and so it's helpful to have a little bit more grounding in just here's what I want, and here's how to get there for all of us. So it's a different experience. Also with UT, I'm still sort of learning everybody's name and getting getting
There's
acclimated.
There's a lot of people. You'll
People.
never learn everybody's name. I know. There's still people I see, and they're like, oh yeah, I teach this. I'm like, oh, you teach
You
here?
teach?
Like, I don't even, I've never seen you before. Yeah. It's not because they're not doing it. There's just so many people here.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And learning how to get in front of an ensemble that you don't know, that's one perk that I have with all of my, with all of the ensembles that I'm in Austin. I know a whole bunch of people, I know all my colleagues, all my friends that I work with, and with Cantorum, I know all these singers and how they sound and everything. But when you get in front of an ensemble that you don't know, and just like trying to immediately figure out, what the strengths are and what the weaknesses are, and how to fix things, and what you need to do in order to get everybody on the same page. It's a real challenge, but a really good challenge to have.
I can imagine. And they're younger too than your typical, right?
Right.
So, which makes it harder sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So
And I'm having to sort of remember, what was I doing when I was in my undergrad, and what was my life like, and what did I have on my mind, and sort of.
You would have probably joined a choir just like that,
I would
right?
have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool. Awesome. Well, anything else going on?
I'm sure there is, but I can't think of anything
you want
right
to plug?
now.
No.
I just, that's all that I've got. I've got Cantorum. We have a concert coming up.
We'll put it in the description.
Yeah. It's in May. Actually, the next Cantorum concert is in May, which is a long ways away, but it's going to be.
And this isn't the one about the food, is it?
I haven't decided yet.
Oh,
I know.
Well, May's not that far away then. If you
I have got to do some real work. Yeah.
Yes.
And go to school and do my job all at the same time. Yeah, I know. That's one of the things about Cantorum, is that it hasn't been like, I haven't made decisions like super far in advance. I know a lot of organizations, they have to have their, they have to have everything all sketched out a year before so that they can purchase music and da-da-da-da-da.
When they're just picking stuff that's, already been done a million times.
Right.
You're coming up with the food bank,
Now I really have to do that.
Yeah. Get on it. Yes.
Gotta do it. So. Anyway, yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much. We're so happy to have you here at Butler. So, and you're like a part-time student, so you'll be here a couple more years.
That's right.
So, are you purposely trying to drag it out, or just so busy with everything else?
I'm really busy. But there also is something wonderful about being able to just like soak it all in, and learn from different professors and different times, be involved with different performances, it's fun.
Might you go to like the DMA route after this, or?
Maybe. I haven't ruled it out, and I haven't said definitely, but it's definitely something that I've been thinking about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We're so happy to have you here at Butler.
Thank you so much,
I can't wait
Nathan.
to see some of your performances coming up. So, yeah, I think I'll have to go to the food bank one. So
you have to. I'll let you know when it happens. Okay.
Well, for sure in May, right?
Yes, May is happening. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Nathan.